that there are these 6 fundamental emotional tools that one can use in a story, and that the 6 elements are family, meaning that if you show characters in any kind of relationship with a spouse or sibling or child, you can quite quickly create an emotional effect for the audience. Next is bullying, and these are arbitrary pieces of vocabulary. Different people use different terms for these, picked them, chosen from different sources. But yes, bullying just means that the character who is bullied is automatically sympathetic, and the character who bullies is automatically a bad guy, etc. A big one, easy one to recognize is self-sacrifice. And I also argue that these don't include each other, that they're separate concepts from each other. Self-sacrifice, pretty self-evident. In Japanese culture, the famous 47 Ronin story is an example of that. Then we've got one more that I discovered quite recently is nostalgia. And I actually picked that up from a Star Wars film.
Yeah, remember Alex?
And so meaning that if you just show characters, show characters remembering something, you can immediately get a rush for the audience. Or in a meta sense, with a lot of Marvel stuff or Star Wars type stuff, is you show things that the audience remembers.
Remember TIE fighters?
Community support is one more. Community support means when the whole tribe, so to speak, rallies around to support an individual. And the key to that is that they're miscellaneous characters. This is the next one I forgot to mention. Noblesse oblige. And what I mean by noblesse oblige is when a more powerful character goes out of their way to help a less powerful character. And power meaning status. It could be physical power, it could be social status, but it's the kind of feeling of like, oh, you didn't have to do that. And that there's something inherently touching about that. And I distinguish that from, or I differentiate between that and say self-sacrifice, in that self-sacrifice involves some risk taken by the character, whereas noblesse oblige doesn't involve risk. It is just where somebody just goes out of the way to help. And the more famous term for what I call noblesse oblige is Blake Snyder's Save the Cat. And the reason I don't use Save the Cat is only because Save the Cat is used by different people for different meanings. And so here I'm trying to like zero in on one micro concept, kind of like what you were saying with the grid before. So all of these things overlap, but
I think all those elements can elicit emotion. I don't know about the community support one. Like, I can't think there's so many.
I'll give you an
examples.
example, a concrete example of community support. The most famous one that comes to mind is the end of It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, where he's in trouble, doesn't have the money to pay for the bank or whatever. And then one by one, all the neighbors come by and they give like a couple of dollars, a couple of pennies, and they're all little miscellaneous characters. And it's this massive heartwarming feeling of the whole community banding together to help the main character.
There's a famous example in like Spider-Man as well. Like
it's everywhere. Please tell me, what's the Spider-Man example? I don't know it off by heart.
It's in the first Spider-Man movie, and Spider-Man has this very like New York's a big part of the story and the theme of it. And I think it's a scene where like he has to save Mary Jane or like a bus full of school children.
I see.
And then the Green Goblin is like on his hover thing.
Yep.
And then like he's about to get killed by the Green Goblin or something by this bridge, and then like a gang of like just average New York people like start throwing stuff at the Green Goblin. They're like,
yes.
mess with him, you mess with all of us. Like,
no, that's great.